Hey, welcome back, guys. What we got going on is more mountain bike stuff. Today, it's a beautiful day out. You can see the clouds in the background behind the mountains, and it's a great day for another mountain bike video. We're going to be washing some bikes today. I'm going to go over some basic information, some basic ways to wash a bike. We're going to go over everything you need. I'm going to be doing this with all the stuff that I do. There's more professional ways to do it, and then there's other ways to be able to adapt to the situation that you're in. Maybe you're living in an apartment and whatnot. So I happen to have a house. I have a hose bib where I can run a hose over. I have a pressure washer. You don't have to have a pressure washer, but we'll get into that. I'm going to go and show you the pre-state of these bikes right now. I went on a bike ride the other day, and it's doing pretty good, but we need to do some adjustments on it. But the first step in doing that is to clean it up first and get it lubricated. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to properly wash it, and well, not so much properly, but just how to basically wash a bike and not make it too complicated. So I'm not going to try to make things complicated today. I will explain how more in depth you can go with it, but pretty much all you need is some soap and some water. You can use a hose to rinse it off with, or you can just get yourself like a water bottle, that's, a squirt water bottle, and you can rinse it off that way too. So if you're in an apartment instead of a house or anywhere like that, where you have a bike and you want to clean it, but you don't have access to things like that, you just need a bucket, just fill it up in your sink, and you're gonna put soap in there. So then you're going to want maybe a second bucket, or maybe just get yourself a couple of water bottles that have some rinse in there. And maybe you have to cope and keep filling it back up to keep squirting and rinsing it off. But that's about it. This is all you need. So I'm going to go through what I have and what I do and the purpose behind it, and then we'll get started. We're going to go through everything that I have and what you should probably get to use. Got my little trusty GoPro here. I say trusty with a lot of sarcasm in it, because this thing shuts off whenever the hell it wants to and doesn't let me know. It doesn't beep. It doesn't do anything. Just stops recording, but it still has the flashy light like it is recording. So what the hell, GoPro people? Fix it. Anyway, get that started. See, it's taking a minute to fire up. I hit the button. It's loading. Oh, now it's ready. Okay, so I'm going to go through all the different stuff I have here, and I'm going to show you everything close up and from far away of what we have and what we're going to be dealing with today. So first things first, I do have a pressure washer. I will be using that today, but you don't need one of these. You can just get a regular garden hose with a regular sprayer on the end of it, okay? It doesn't have to be nothing fancy. And when you move over here, you're going to have your bucket that you're going to put soap in. This is our soap. We got our little wash mitt right here. And this is just a beat up wash mitt that I use to clean rough things like this. And the one I have for vehicle is much finer. It's going to be less detrimental to the paint, but these are not going to be too severe with the paint jobs. You're not going to want to worry about that. They don't have like a clear coat. Most of them don't. Some of them do. Like her Huffy, I think, has a clear coat on it, but it's not that big of a deal. So you're going to want some gloves, okay? Just because your hands are going to get dirty, and if you got allergies or you got contacts and you want to rub your eyes or something like that, we're going to be working with solvents, and we're going to be working with soaps. And if your hands get pruny, just put some rubber gloves on. It's going to help protect your hands and keep things cleaner. If you need to answer your phone right away, you can just take the glove off, set it down, and answer your phone. So now I got a bucket of scrub brushes here. These brushes are just ones I've gathered over the years. Okay, there's a bunch of fancy ones for different things. You're going to have a whole bunch of different types here for cleaning seats or little air ducts and things like that. But the best and cheapest ones you could probably ever get for cleaning things are just a couple of bucks, and they come in packages of like 2 to 3 to 4 to 6, whatever. And that's a toothbrush, just a regular old toothbrush here. And then I have this chamois towel that I'm going to use to dry off when we're done. I have brake parts cleaner. That's the best degreaser I have around here right now, and that's what we're going to use. We're going to clean off our sprockets, our gears, and our chain. So we're going to get some close-up shots here. This is what it looks like right now. Okay, this is all the dirt and the grime and the grease that's built up just from her little bit of riding. Okay, you see all the chain and how dirty the derailleur is on the backside. The front derailleur is a little dirty too, and you can see how just the brakes are getting a little derailed or dirty as well. See how the spokes are pretty dirty and everything. So it's kind of the before shot there of that one. And then on my bike, we're going to have dirt on our shocks. You definitely want to clean this stuff off. You don't you want to clean these. These are seals right here, little rubber seals. Not only do you want to clean them off, but you want to lube them. All that dirt in there is just like sandpaper. It's just really grinding away that seal. Okay, it's not going to really do much to the metal, but in the long term it could. But you can see it's already pretty beaten up, and I've been riding it pretty hard, doing things in the past. But it's been about a year since I washed this, but you can see in my front sprocket here and all that grease that's built up behind there. Everything else is looking okay, like the top paint and everything like that. That looks okay. You know, we're going to take this off. We're not going to need to have my bike pump on there to wash it. But you see it here on the back brakes, on the pads, you don't want all that grease and dirt in there. That's causing issues. And I think that's another problem I had. So we'll go over that in another video, because I need to fix my rear brake because it did not do so well on my bike ride a couple of days ago. I went to go down a hill, and then I just went down the hill, man. I wasn't able to really slow down or stop very efficiently. See on my back derailleur here, you can see all the grease building up in the lower sprockets. You see how in the spring here that you're getting a bunch of buildup, and you got the gears are not looking too bad. And you know, you want to look down in there, you see all those in betweens where all the dirt's building up. You want to get all that out of there. So it's what the brushes and the degreaser is going to be for. You also have swivel joints where you got your shock. You want to clean this off too. This is for your rear shock, but you want to make sure that's nice and clean and free and lubed. Okay, so as far as your seat and your handlebars and things like that, not too bad. Those don't really get hammered too bad. So that's just a little soap of water there, but a little soap of water on the shocks, little soap of water on the tires and everywhere. And as far as the brakes, there's going to be a different way we're going to clean those. Don't worry about getting soap and water on them right now. But what I can do, you'll see, I'll just hold the brush in one area, and then I'll just spin the chain so I can scrub all of that at once. Instead of scrub here, then scrub here, then scrub here, then scrub here, then scrub here. Now I can just hold in one spot and scrub away. But you don't want to do it over the gears, because all that dirt and grease is going to go down in the gears. So you want to do it like on the bottom here or there. So now if you have a bike like Julie's here, where it has the pads for brakes, you want not to get any grease on the rim. Now mine doesn't matter because I have that over here. I just don't want to get grease on the pads in there that pinch onto the rotor, and I want to keep that nice and clean and free to grease and debris. This is the first step, was washing and getting all that loose dirt out of there, okay, and some of the grease. That's why we're using degreaser, because you need a little bit of a solvent-based material to try to get the rest of that grease out of there. You want to remove the old grease that's not lubricating anymore, so you can add new stuff that's going to do its job. And then we'll go into more detail about that later, about what you can and can't do with or what you want with types of grease. Okay, types of lubricants are all going to have different states for different kind of riding conditions. You're going to have dry lubricants and clean lubricants, where if you're riding like where I am, and you want and you're in a dry, dusty environment, you're going to be riding on dry, dusty dirt trails, yeah, you're going to want more of a clean lubricant, because a more wet lubricant, and what I mean by clean lubricant, clean dry lubricant, it's going to have more of a wax base to it. And if you have a wet lubricant, that's going to be more like things like, you know, WD-40 and whatnot, and it's going to stay wet and it's going to stay oily and greasy all the time. Don't use WD-40, okay? If you're just a kid on a BMX or just riding around, you know, the street once in a great blue moon, you could probably get away with it. But really, WD-40 doesn't lubricate the way it needs to on bicycles as good as it should. But anyway, with the wet lubricants, that in a dry, dusty environment, it's going to pick up a lot of that dust, and it's going to trap all that dirt in your gears and your bindings and your spokes. And it's going to trap it everywhere, and it's going to fling off everywhere, and then it's going to get stuck to things, and then the dirt's going to get stuck to that, and it creates a mess. Okay, so we have Julie's bike here. Now, I have a bike stand. Do you need a bike stand? Not necessarily. You can go ahead and set the bike down on the ground like this, and head that pedal into the kickstand. You can just set the bike down on the ground like this and wash it as is. And that's fine. I've done it a million times before. When I was a kid, I just laid it on the ground and washed it off. You know, you can do that too. You can get away with it. Why do I do it this way? Like I showed you with the whole cleaning the chain, it just makes it easier, especially for when you get older and your back doesn't work as good and things like that. Well, that just makes it easier. Now, you can flip this upside down on the handlebars you know, where you go completely upside down and sitting on the handlebars and on the seat, and then you can turn the wheels that way. Yeah, you can kind of do that, but for any kind of adjustments you're going to do on the derailleurs, this isn't the way to go. So for washing bike purposes, yeah, you can get away with it just sitting like this. But as far as mine, I'm going to have it up on the stand. All right, guys, first things first, we're going to put some water and some soap into our bucket. How much soap do you need? Not a lot at all. So this is our soap right here. It's just Gryat's Car Wash Garage. It's the pink soap at O'Reilly's. Can't miss it. I'm just going to put about a cap full in here. So I'm doing this one-handed, as you can see. I'm just going to get a little bit of soap in here. Okay, that's all you need. That's it. All right, so it's best if you don't use things like Dawn dish soap or hand soap or things like that. Get like a specific car washing soap, okay? There's certain additives and things with soap and what it's going to do to paint and residues that certain soaps will leave behind. And what that's going to do is that is going to gum up on gears and things like that, and you're going to leave a sticky residue on your paint as well, and it's going to eat away either the paint or the clear coat. So you got to be careful what kind of soaps you use. Non-dish soap, you can get away with it if you wanted to, but really I like to use the same stuff I wash my cars with, you know, with my bikes and anything. All right, so we're just going to mix that soap up. We're going to let that fill up for a little bit. It's probably the part of the video we do a little time lapse and just hurry that along. Okay, so that's probably good enough. First things first, we're going to go ahead, we're going to take our brake clean here, okay? We're going to take our two brushes and we're going to start cleaning the chain and sprockets. Basically, all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take the, hold on, let me clean the lens. So I'm going to take the can of brake clean here. I'm just going to go ahead and start spraying. And when I spray, you want to kind of spray away from the tire so you don't get the brake clean on the tire. Essentially, if I did it up here, it's going to get away from that. But if you get brake clean to go down in the gear there too, that's not good. You don't want to spray into lubed areas. That's why I'm going to spray right here on the chain, and I'm going to let it drip down right past the tire. I am going to go ahead and shift this shifter all the way to the low sprocket. So we do that by clicking here. Okay, why am I shifting to the low sprocket? Well, if you look right here, you can see how it's now away from the tire. So if I spray right here as I'm turning my pedals, then it's going to drip away from the tire, in theory. So and I got my brushes here, so we're going to use the brushes to wash it down as well. Okay, so you got your safety goggles. You just want to slip those on. They don't need to be really anything perfect. You just want direct shots to your eyes, you know, blocked off. So I'm going to go ahead and start spraying as I'm turning this. I'm not going to spray wildly. I'm just going to spray it gently because I just want to start getting it worked around. Okay, and then now I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to allow it to scrub the top side of the chain. You know, give this a few spins just to make sure you got that good. And then I'm just going to, right here, I'm just going to go ahead and, it's kind of hard to do that with all this, so I'll just set this on the ground. So then you're going to want to scrape the bottom of the chain, the inside of the chain, however you want to look at that. Okay, now I'm going to do the side of the chain. Then I'm going to do the other side of the chain. I don't know if you can see how I'm doing that there. So I'm holding here, I'm holding here. Now I'm going to rinse it again. So now I'm going to do the sprockets. Notice I can just turn the wheel and do the sprockets, okay? I'm going to rinse them out. You can use high spray on this if you want. Okay, looking pretty decent there. I'm going to take my longer bristled brush so I can get way down in there. Yeah, I'll try to get most of it. Like on the taller gears, you're not going to get all the way down there, but you want to try to get the dirt that's off around where the gear is going to be sitting, okay? All right, so that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse it one more time. Okay, looking pretty good. Now we're going to spray down our derailleur. Okay, you're not really going to hurt anything here, but you want to go ahead and clean the sprockets off here on both sides. And this one here is kind of a pain to get to, so I'll shift the gears to get to that one. I'm going to go ahead and shift all the way up. So right now it's not having a good time trying to shift because I took all the lube off of it. So now it's dry and it's crunchy. So now it is shifted, so all of this is completely exposed for me, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and clean off the gear that I couldn't get to earlier. Try to get in those joints, get everything cleaned out pretty good. And underneath, okay. That's looking to be pretty darn clean now. So now we're going to do this front sprocket, and I'm going to spray on the downside. Just try to avoid the pedal itself. Okay, get that pretty cleaned off. All right, the rest we'll be doing with soap and water. So that's it for these. You can put those up. So I'm going to use my little GoPro here. I'm going to give you a close-up shot of the action here. So if you compare and contrast from before, you can see how much cleaner all this looks. Okay, in between the gears and everything there. I don't want it shifting on me, but you can see how much cleaner the derailleur is and how much cleaner the front sprocket is and all the chain. Okay, so overall, we got a lot better cleanliness going on here. Before we go ahead and lubricate our components here, we're going to clean the rest of the bike off. And now we're going to fire up the pressure washer and we're going to clean with the soap and water. I like to use the pressure washer first just to spray off some of the loose dirt, and then get it pre-wet, and then you can use the soapy water and get the soap. What the soap does is it grabs onto that dirt, so when you hit the soap with the water and it pulls that dirt with it and pulls it off. In theory, that's how it's supposed to work. And some of them will have some waxy or some paraffin wax, or it's going to have protectors in it essentially to go ahead and protect paint and components on your bike. You know, any kind of stack of protector you can put on something, do it. Okay, so just before I fire up this pressure washer here, why am I using the pressure washer? Because it uses a lot less water. It has pressure behind it, and it has a pump in there that builds up the pressure of the water. So when I spray something, it'll blast off the dirt and the crap. Okay, it's better than just dumping gallons of water from a hose, or even using a hose sprayer, or you're going to fill up buckets and buckets and just keep dumping bucket after bucket. That uses a lot less water. So and it's very effective, and it does what it needed to do. So if you're in an area where they're trying to conserve water and things like that, use a pressure washer or go to a car wash. You can do the same thing at a car wash. I don't think they're going to mind you doing that. Try to pick an hour or time where it's going to be a lot less traffic at that moment, and you can utilize the car wash at the same time. You don't have to lubricate it or anything. You can get the chain and all that done outside of the car wash, and then just take your bike inside to the car wash real quick. Put a couple of quarters in there for 5 minutes maybe. That's all you're really going to need. And you just get and you don't even need a bucket of soap. They have it on the switch, so just turn it to soap, spray it down, get it all over it really good, and then turn it to rinse, let the soap run out of it, and then rinse off your bike. Done. Put the nozzle up, pull your bike out, let the next person go. It only takes a minute. You don't need to hog the whole day and stay there forever or do all this other stuff. You can do this at home in your garage or your apartment or wherever you're doing it at. Now, as far as the pressure washer, one thing that I wanted to show you here with it is the different types of nozzles we have. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fire up my trusted GoPro, give you a close-up shot here. You're going to have different nozzles. Okay, what does this mean? What's the red, green, white, and blue mean? What are they for? So there is an attachment that I can put on this pressure washer that will allow it to suck soap into the unit and start spraying it out through the hose with the water. When it does that, you can put it on this low gentle so it's not blasting, and that is the blue one, obviously from the color blue, and that's this guy right here. Okay, now it'll also tell you the angles of degrees that it's spraying out. This one is pretty wide. It's not just a straight line shot like this, okay, where it's flat this way when you look at it, and it's thin when you look at it this way. That's like a blade effect. Okay, that's what these other ones are going to do. This one is it's more of a fan out and a cone. So this is going to make more of a Conex kind of spray going on there, and that's fine. But we're going to put the soap on by hand with our bucket and our sponge today. The next 3 that you have is a 40-degree spray. So in other words, it's that blade effect where you look at it long ways and it's flat like that. If you look at it this way, it's wide. Well, what this fan is doing, what it's showing you there is it'll spread out 40 degrees, and the next one will be 25 degrees, and the next one is going to be pretty much a straight laser jet, one stream shot, and that's going to do some wicked stuff. So don't ever use that one unless you really want to cause some issues. Now you're going to have the 25. It's going to be a little bit too abrasive for what we're doing. So we're basically just going to stick with the white one, which is the 40. And that's typically all I ever use. And you can see how it's a little bit rusted and it's broken. It's the one I always use. So this is just a holder for it. The way these work is they have that little indentation right here. They slip right in the end of here, just like an air nozzle on an air gun. Okay. So you're going to pull this little lever up, and then you're going to stick this in there, and when you let the lever go, it holds onto it. So the pressure behind that is not going to blow it off of there. Now, if it blows it off there, you didn't have the pressure right. So I'm going to do this one-handed so you can see. Just going to pop it in there like that. Okay, wiggle it around. It wasn't set, so we're going to go ahead and lift that again, put it in there, and work. Yeah, I'm going to work on that. Anyway, I'll get that nozzle in there, and then we'll start washing. Okay, so I got that on there. It just basically, I had to push in just a little harder, and I couldn't do that with just one hand. And then you lock this down, and now it does not want to come out. Now notice that it does swivel. So these points right here, where it's elongated, this is going to be your straight up and down markers. Okay, this is, so if you put it like this, it's going to come, the fan is going to come out like this. Okay, now if I turn it like this, the fan is going to come out like that. Okay, so, well, I don't know if you could see that because I was not aiming the camera. So fan like this, if it's straight up and down like that, so it looks like this. And if it's like that, you're going to have the fan coming out like that. Okay, so I want it to go like that because that's generally how I work with the wand. And just line it up so it's in line with your handle. All right, so we're going to fire this up. If you've never used one of these before, let me know in the comments below. I'll walk you through it, some maintenance, some easy things to it. That's pretty simple. I basically just want to hit the switch to on and pull the lever, make sure it's got fuel and oil. And once it fires up, it'll start sucking in the water through the garden hose, going through the pump, and then it's going to come out high pressure in the high pressure line. Now, this hose is very low pressure. This hose can handle a lot of pressure. I'm talking about 2,700 PSI, if you see right there, versus this hose is maybe 16 to 30 PSI, maybe about the amount of a tire, but you know, it's going to blow after that. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and fire this up now. I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to turn to the start mode. I'm going to pull the lever, and it's going to get loud for a second. As soon as it does, I'm going to spray off all the loose dirt real quick. Not going to get too intricate. I'm just going to get the bike wet and spray off some of the loose stuff. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and shut this off, and I'll talk to you guys as I soap it down, and I'll start this back up and rinse it off, and we'll be done with that part. Then we'll go lube. You can see how this fans out when I shoot it. But if I were to turn this knob, like I was showing you before, I turn it so it's now long ways. So now it's going to come out that way versus that way. Okay, so that's the 40-degree one. The 20 is going to be less of a fan, and the red one's going to be a pinpoint laser. If you guys want to see that, want to see me power wash off an oil spot or something weird like that, let me know. Now, when I go to spray this, you don't want to be right here. You want to be farther away when you spray it, okay? When you do this, you're going to take the paint off. When you're back here, you're still getting enough pressure. It's doing what it's meaning to be doing, so. All right, so a couple things, guys. First, I'm going to take my bike pump off of there because I forgot about that. It gets wet. It's no big deal. It's meant to get wet. Otherwise, they wouldn't have you put it on the bicycle. They're going to go ride in the rain. I'm going to take our bucket that we have the soap in. We're just going to get this get the sponge a little soaked. We're going to clean it off a little bit. Or if there's dirt in the bucket, you know, it'll settle to the bottom, okay? That's what the soap and everything is meant to do. It's meant to collect all that dirt. So let's start with the seat. Not too important that you really scrub anywhere too bad. You just want to kind of do a generalized over the whole thing. I'm going to adjust the bike stand here because as I was spraying it, you guys could see that it was wanting to turn on me like it is right now. Now, if you're washing the car, tires are the last thing you want to wash, okay? You basically want to wash from the top down on just about anything you wash. Why? Because there's more dirts and greases on certain components that are down lower near the road than there are up high. So again, I'm going to try to get the soap everywhere. Things like my pedals, stuff like that, and then between all those gears, yeah, I'm going to get that scrub brush back out. I'm going to scrub in between all this stuff. But for now, I just want to get the soap down in places. Really get it working. Okay, now if you're doing this in sunlight, especially like on a vehicle, you want to be quick. I'm just going to squeeze it on to some parts right here. And I'm going to take the brush. And I'm just going to kind of scrub off the components that I'm going to get with the degreaser. Like I said, you don't need to be too thorough with like the brake area because we're going to do that in a separate video and adjust the brake, clean them off in a different way. But we're going to remove the tires to do that. Nice cool breeze on a hot day. Sound of nature, you know, wind, cars, motorcycles, lawnmowers, dogs barking, boom boxes playing in the background with music that just doesn't make sense. People who need attention out there, I suppose. Do I need attention? Not really. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm just, I like to share what I have, knowledge-wise. Don't forget to get your handlebars, guys, you know, and all the components up here. You want to get free of dirt and dust, too, so they will operate smoothly and correctly. Tires meant to get dirty. They're not meant to get dirty. Then there's a problem with your bike. There's a problem with your car. If you got a truck with nice rims on it, it's not meant to get dirty. And I don't think the truck has problems, more or less, that the person driving it. Just seems ridiculous. I'm not supposed to get dirt in these rims on my Hummer, on my lifted dually. I can't get dirt in these rims. It's not meant for work. It's just meant for looking at it. Look at it, so pretty. Nah. All right, guys, I have that pretty much soaked down. I'm going to go ahead and fire up the pressure washer, and I'm going to go ahead and spray this off. You see all the soap on there and the degreaser? Yeah. That's why I want to wear gloves. All right, one more time. So now I got my chamois. I'm going to go ahead and soak it down. Even though the pressure washer is not running, water will flow it. It just won't be pressurized. I'll go ahead and get my chamois wet. Now, why does a chamois need to be wet before it dries? Well, seems like a counterintuitive thing, but it is not. You actually get better water soaker upper abilities when the chamois is wet. They're designed like that. They're designed to attract water when there's water in it. What's the science behind that? I don't know. I just know that's what you're supposed to do. So if you feel like your chamois is not drying off really well on your vehicle or something like that, try soaking it down first. Okay, and after you soak it down, then you just go ahead and pull it a couple times and you wring out the excess. So when you wring out the excess, it's thirsty for more, but it's pliable for one. It's not stiff. So now I can take it and now you can kind of go over parts that may have been missed. Try to keep moving around on the chamois. Use different parts, okay? If you used a part on the wheel, try to use a different part on the paint, okay? Do the paint first, so that way the water doesn't dry on it and cause spots. Turn this so you guys can see a little bit of the after. So it substantially looks a lot better. It's got more of a shine to it. Looks clean now. I'm not done yet. I'm actually going to go get a an air nozzle, and I'm going to use air to spray out of the joints and everything so I don't get water down in areas and get it rusting. Because some water in some areas, like around our part right here, we have what's called heavy alkali. Around here, we just have alkalis, not like salt water, but we have alkalis that act like a salt, okay? Want to know the science behind that? Go look at alkalis versus salt. Other areas you're going to have what's called hard water. You're going to have hard mineral deposits, okay? They're going to eat through clear coats and things like that, exacerbate and speed up the process of metal getting chewed up and eaten up and rusting, okay? And not just steel rusts. Aluminum doesn't rust, but it will get messed up by salts and things like that. Rubbers and plastics, you want to be careful with those too. So it'll beat them up pretty good too. Sunlight is your main enemy. So as long as you try to keep things out of sunlight the majority of the time, or just protect them if they're going to be in sunlight, cover them, wax them, make sure they're fully protected, they'll last a lot longer. But eventually everything breaks down. You will have to replace components or the whole thing itself, whether it's a car or a bicycle or a house or your body. Like, I wish I could put my head on a 16-year-old body at this point, but it is what it is. Such is life. Que sera, c'est la vie, those kind of things. We're going to get the air nozzle and spray out the joints so that we don't have the water just sitting in there creating issues. I have my air tank in the garage, and it's an air compressor that's on the top of a tank that compresses the air into a tank and pressurizes and stores a lot of pressurized air. So I can plug this little nozzle into here, and then I can use the compressed air to spray out the joints and stuff. Be careful, it's going to come out of some pretty good pressure. Okay, you can set the PSIs, but I think mine's set to between 90 and 110 right now. I can't remember, but I adjust it accordingly for whatever I'm doing. So, but for what we're doing here, it doesn't need to be special. Now with the air nozzle itself, remember I was showing you how the tips plug into the pressure washer itself, and they're just like an air nozzle, same thing. So I don't know if you can see here, but you can see how there's little ball bearings in there. And what that does is when you pull this down, it allows the ball bearings to come loose in there. So when I stick this in there, and this has the same notch in it where the ball bearings are going to plug onto. So I'm going to pull that down. I'm going to stick that on there. It's going to be a hiss from the air, and I'm going to push it up to lock it into place. So now it's in there and it's pressurized. So if I press this trigger, okay, so if you don't believe me, you can see my hair, okay, so, or my shirt. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to get my chamois again, and I'm going to use it to catch any excess water that's blowing off. And as always, it's pressurized, and things can ricochet and come right back at you. So make sure you're wearing these so you don't get that crap in your eye. Because I will tell you every time, getting dirt and debris in your eye is no fun, especially if you have contacts or already have poor vision. It's going to just make it worse. And it's going to suck when you have to pay a doctor bill for them to go dig out dirt or whatever they got to dig out of your eye. Now, if you have metal shavings that you're dealing with and you allow the metal to get into the eye itself, it can rust, and then that's a whole nother problem. So infections in your eye, you only get one set of these, so take care of them. All right, guys, we're all done here. Got the sun creeping in and it's beating on my camera right now, so my camera may shut off on me. It's still going for now, but now we're going to move inside the garage where we're going to do the lubrication. Okay, so now I've moved inside the garage where it's going to be a little bit quieter because the traffic out there was just getting a little much, as well as the wind was starting to pick up and blow around. These microphones are pretty decent, but they'll still have some trouble with the winds, and I don't feel like editing that later. So we have our bike washed, okay? We degreased all of the chain and sprockets and joint areas, okay? So now we need to lube those back up. This is beautiful and clean again. I didn't really think it was that dirty, and you never really think something is until you take a shower. Or you wash your bike or you wash your car or whatever you do there, and then you go, oh, well, that looks a lot better. It just makes you feel good to clean things. I mean, you got some dirty dishes in the kitchen, you're like, it's not that many, but then you end up doing the dishes and you're like, oh, that's better. It's fun to clean sometimes. All right, so you guys want some close-up shots? I'm going to use this guy to get close-up shots of things, as well as I'm going to move this camera a little bit closer to the action when I'm lubing all this up, okay? You may not see me, but no one really wants to see this anyway. I mean, I can bend down to the camera and be like, see right here, you just do that. But I don't have to. What I'm going to do is just show you a proper way to do it. All you're going to need, you could get a paper towel if you want. You're going to want your gloves, okay? You can get safety glasses if you want. I don't think I'm going to really need them right now. I'm going to not get this thing spinning all up crazy where it's going to spit the stuff back in my face. This is pressurized. It will spray. So, you know, go ahead and wear some safety glasses just in case. This is something that you are probably going to want to have a bike stand for. If you don't have a bike stand, you could probably flip it upside down, but there's certain bikes that you can't flip upside down. You see how I have my button up here for my seat to raise and lower. Well, it's in the way. So if I set my handlebars there, and I can also jack up other components like your brakes or your gear changer. It can tear up the seat a little bit too, but if you turn it upside down, you just need to get it to a way where you're going to be able to freely spin, okay? And be able to click through the gears. If it's upside down, that might inhibit the process. So just do what you can. If you find a way to get it off the ground or the wheels off the ground and stabilize so you can turn through the gears, it may take you a little bit longer, but ultimately these are just a couple of bucks. They don't take up a lot of room. They fold up and go under a bed or under a toolbox or in a closet or in a corner. They're very simple, and they help a lot. Like before I got this, trying to do everything I was doing on the bikes was just a headache. Back killer. Yeah, not fun. I'm going to show you the different towels, okay? So here's a shop towel. You can get this in any auto parts store, or you can go over to like a Harbor Freight or Lowe's or Home Depot may have these. So just a shop towel, shop rag. Then you're going to have the terry cloth, which is this type of terry cloth, okay? Just like a washcloth or a towel or anything like that. Again, you can use an old sweater, an old shirt, just no jeans. That's not going to really cut it, but you want a cloth, fine cloth-like material, okay? This is too fine. This is a microfiber cloth. You don't want to use that, okay? So terry cloth or that, not this. We're going to go ahead and use our shop towel here, just for all intents and purposes. Now you don't need a scrub brush or anything like that. All I'm going to do is I'm going to try to spray in an area where it's not going to drip onto anything. But essentially, I don't want to catch my fingers in these spokes either, or the towel, okay? So you want to get your towel kind of wrapped up in a way where it's going to kind of wrap around the chain in a way, but help protect backsplash. But then you're going to want to go ahead and you can just get a lot soaked in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'll go ahead and set that on the seat, hoping it doesn't fall. Well, it's going to fall. So I'm going to spray that. So I got a pretty good amount of lube in there. And now, see, it wants to suck it into that socket. So I'm going to go a little bit further down. I'm going to wrap this around the chain. I'm going to go around. Don't have to go fast. Just a few loops around. Okay, so that got the chain lubed up pretty dang good. So we're going to do a little bit more. So definitely want to get more on there. The more, the better. Because you're going to go by with a dry rag and you're going to clean it all off. So yeah, that's feeling much, much better. Okay. Yeah, that's already kind of going a lot smoother. All right, so now comes the fun part where you're going to try to spray your sprockets down a little bit, okay? And you're going to want to spray your components on your derailleur. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this rag and, because I'm not really going to be spinning this at this moment, I'm just going to go ahead and try to slip this behind the gear down to the axle just to help protect things behind it, okay? So that's kind of there like that. Now I can just fold it through the spokes a little bit, okay? So that's kind of like that now, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and spray, and then I'll turn it and spray again. And then I'll do the same thing down here for the derailleur. I'm going to put something behind it so it's protecting the spokes and the tire and the brakes on the other side from all the backsplash. Really gently, okay? Don't need to go full bore on this. Just get a nice coating on there. Okay, that's about it. See, it's dripping off and it's going straight down onto the ground. It's bypassing the tire for the most part. I got some overspray down there, and we can clean that off later. This is something that you can also take this off of the bike and do it that way too. All you got to do is detach the bolts that are holding on your back tire, or you can take the bolt through that's in there and pull it out like I've shown you in the previous video, and then just slide your back tire out and you can spray it that way too. I'm going to turn it over till I see that the other side is now facing up. Place my rag back behind here. Again, press real light. And there you go. So now we're going to spray our derailleur down just a little bit in its joints, internals, any moving part that you see where it's going to move, you want to spray that down. Screws, it don't matter. Get a good coat. You're going to want to get your sprockets. I'm going to go up to the front sprocket now. I'm going to spray it down a little bit. Now, if you got some dry spots on that same rag, you can use it. And all you're going to do is you're going to just spin it around, and you're going to hold on to the chain, and you're going to try to gather up all the excess. Again, I don't have to go fast. And I'm going to go back the other way too. Okay, give a little dabs here and there. Just try to dry off. And all this is going to drip down because, you know, gravity. And so just go ahead and try to clean off the bottom there. That's essentially all there is to lubing this up, okay? Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and start shifting through your gears. One at a time, one by one. Make sure they all do proper shift movements slowly. Essentially, you're going to want to go all the way down. Now I'm holding the brake a little bit for the back tire, and I'm trying to give it some torque because I want this chain under tension when it shifts, because if you're going to be having your foot on this pedal, you don't want it slipping. Okay? You want nice smooth transitions. Okay, now we're going to go up and see if it climbs, and we're going to do that under duress. I don't know if you can see there, you just want that chain to grab and climb ever so nicely, just like that, okay? So if you're shifting up like this, going into the easier gear, or gears if you have the front derailleur too, going to want to make sure that under some duress that it shifts smoothly, okay? Yeah, it's having no problem. And since I soaped and degreased the brake rotor, it's actually braking a lot better than it was. So that's it. We are all lubed up and ready to go with our chain here, okay? You're going to want to lube some other points too. You may want to lube the seal here. You don't have to try to spray up onto it. Again, get your rag that you're using to lube up with, which is just going to already be kind of soaked. Just spray a little bit more onto here, okay? So then you're just going to do that. Like on my seat, I'm going to go ahead and just put a little lube around right where that seal's at to help that seal out, okay? I'm going to do the same thing down here with my ear shock, okay? This is going to help. And I'm going to do it on my front shocks too. This is going to help keep that seal lubricated, and it's going to allow it to not dry out as quickly. So you want it to be clean for the purpose of everything stays working for a lot longer. You don't have breakdown on parts, and you don't have to replace parts. Now, do you need to keep it clean 24/7? Well, yes and no, but that's kind of all depends on how much you ride it and where you're riding it. Okay, guys, so that is the video for now. This is the washing of your mountain bike or your BMX or your 10-speed or your cruiser bike. Any of these bikes, you could do the same thing. Now, if you have one of those cruiser bikes or like a BMX and it doesn't have gears on it, it's just got one sprocket and one sprocket, you're not necessarily going to need a stand because you're not going to be trying to shift gears and try to do all the adjustments and everything you need to do when you got a gear shifting bike. So don't worry about a bike stand if you got like a BMX or a little simple cruiser that only has one gear on the front and one gear on the back. But if you have multiple gears, either you got a 1x12 like I have here, or you're going to have a 3x6 making 18 gears on like my wife's bike, the Huffy over there, you're going to want a bike stand so you can adjust properly, so you can get to things easier and be able to rotate the wheel and spin it and still be able to grab the brakes and be free of everything. And it's just going to kind of sit there. So again, this is a simple wash and lube video for you guys. And I'm going to do another one here where I'm going to show you how to adjust the derailleur on the back side as well as the derailleur on the front side. Okay? And I'll show you all that. It's actually pretty simple, okay? It's just a few screws, and as long as you know what they do and how they work, all it takes is just a few minutes and you can set yourself up for success on a bike ride, okay? If you've ever been like pedaling and you go to pedal and it slips off the top side or slips off the bottom side and jams into the gears, we're going to stop that. If you're riding but it's not slipping off of the front or the back of the sprockets of the cogs, but it actually doesn't shift, or when it shifts it jumps several gears, or it has a real big jump when you and jerk when you do go to shift, or you're just pedaling along, you didn't shift and it shifts on its own. Those are all bad adjustments. Now, I'm going to show you that in the next video here coming up here, guys, and I may release them at the same time. I may be doing it separately. I don't know. Yeah, get out there, go pedal, go have fun. It's springtime. It's coming into summer now. It's really nice weather, at least here in Colorado. You don't have to do trail riding. Just go ride around your local park. You know, just get out there, get exercise, man. This is one of the best ways to get exercise. It's great for your knees. It's great for mobility. Keeps weight off. Keeps you mentally focused. Allows you to sleep better too. So you'd be amazed what a bicycle does for you. What are some benefits again? Well, to do with health, it's really going to help your joints. Okay, so you're moving everything there. Okay, you're going to be losing weight. Lord knows I need to. It's going to help you start breathing better. And therefore, if you have a diet in check and you're getting good exercise like this, it's going to help you build muscle. It's going to help lubricate the joints, get those going, along with stretching. You want to make sure you stretch after the bike ride, not before, because if you do stretching before, like runs and bikes, you have a potential to injure yourself. Go research all this stuff. It's out there. You're going to feel better in the long run. Now, given my age is 47, do I regret that? Would I do it again? You bet your butt. You know why? Because things heal. Chicks dig scars. You know, like for you women out there, this is the best way to get really good leg shape and really good rear exterior shapes going on. Anyway, I made sure that all my gears shift smoothly. I made sure that the lubrication is not splashing up on anything. I made sure that I have full rotation both forward and back, and it goes through all my gears. We're good to go there. There's no binding, there's no stopping, there's no skipping, there's no jumping, there's no disobedience from the gear changing area. So I say so many times, it's getting on my nerves. Like, I don't realize it when I'm speaking to you guys, but when I go to edit things and everything's so, and well, so well, all those sounds, if you see my videos and I'm cutting all that stuff out, it's because apparently when I am talking to you guys on a camera right now doing this, I can't seem to control that part of my brain that controls those things. So anyway, it's yeah, it's time for me to go ahead and try that again. Okay, guys, so that's that. I got my gloves off, got my glasses off because I am finished with the bike for now. My next video is going to involve how to clean up the brakes properly on your, I'm doing hiccuping, so I'm gonna have to do this again. Okay, guys, so I got my gloves off, got my glasses off, put them aside because I am done with the bike for now. Any questions or comments or concerns, put them down in the comments below. Let me know what you want to see. I'll catch you on the next video. Till then, go riding, stay safe, and have a good one.